Taking advantage of more democratic airfares and cheaper accommodations, I recently ventured on a weekend adventure with my daughter Sunis and some family friends who share the same passion for travel. Our destination, via Clark, was Bujuanga, the gateway to northern Palawan. I last visited this area some 9 or 10 years ago, tagging along with blogger friends. The build-up of Coron in the past 10 years have been massive, with accommodation and food establishments sprouting like mushrooms all over the place. A little less than 100 of boats bring tourists island hopping around Coron Bay, mostly on Siete Pecados and the white sand beaches like Banal, Syke, or Calasuchi, on packages which can be booked at numerous tour operators around town. Coron remains a haven for nature and beach-loving visitors, but for I don't know for how long. The dark side of tourism begins to take its toll though, from damaged corals which have been stepped on hundreds of times, to mangroves filled with plastic garbage and overpriced but under-maintained hot springs. I even witnessed how some tourist boats loaded off urine and whatnot at the docking area near Culion Lake. A little less changed is the historic town of Culion, with fewer tourists visiting what came to be known as a colony of lepers. One has to cross the Coron Bay and brave the relentless waves of the open sea to reach this archipelago. Along the way are aquatic farms known for export quality South Sea pearls. The trip to Culion is more memorable for me, as it our first time to access the Culion Museum and Archives. This was made possible through the kind assistance of former Vice Mayor Ermin Palau, who used to work at the San Miguel Brewery and lived in Pampanga in the early 90s until it was time for him come home and serve Culion as a councillor in 1992 when the town first became a municipality after almost 100 years of being governed as a sanatorium by the government through the health department. We got to meet the current chief of Hospital Drive, Arturo Cunanan, whose Kapampangan forebears were among the pioneer workers in Culion. A certain cloak of sadness enveloped me upon entering the museum, similar to visiting the Genocide Museum in Cambodia. It is a veritable trip down memory lane, documenting the origins of Culion as a mixture of sanctuary, prison, or island of no return for people afflicted by leprosy or Hansen's disease in those days. It also opened my eyes to the stories of bravery and sacrifice of men and women who committed their lives to serving the patients in the sanatorium, many of them medical workers who pursued extensive research to look for cures and better treatments for their patients. Some of them never left Culion too. Beyond Coron and Culion, there remains a lot to be discovered in northern Palawan that frankly deserves a repeat visit. But before that, I only wish that the airport in Bujuanga puts to good use the terminal fee it collects to repair the main airport signage, which was probably destroyed by Typhoon Yolanda a couple of years ago, and at least put air conditioning in some of the passenger waiting areas.